7.
And that's a poor shot. He had a nice angle on the red to finish short on the blue. That's very careless.
Now, does this red pot, the one that I mentioned he might be able to get on, well, it clearly passes
10.
the red, but has he gone far enough for the cue ball? Looks a little tight there. But if it goes, it opens up another red for the opposite corner, but it's very tight, so he's going to take the slightly more difficult red.
Nice pot with the rest, but the angle on the black, I think he's going to have to play for the red. That's on the black cushion.
Has he finished straight on this?
18.
Needs a slight angle. He's only got a slight angle. But that's all he needed.
19.
Now this is the key shot. If he doesn't get into this well enough, the white will hit those reds and slide over towards the right middle pocket. All depends how well he gets into this.
Yeah, the exacting positional shot is kiss the red to the left of the pink. But you would think any cannon, he'll be unlucky not to be on one, and that looks very good indeed.
26. 27.
As I mentioned earlier, if he was to take this frame and level it 4-all after being 4-1 behind, it'll be a good day's work.
Yeah, 4-1 Dennis, I was starting to think there was warning signs already. We all know how good Ron is
34.
when he gets a lead, but this has been a great performance by Judd Trump. Put some incredible long balls and showed great character to get back into this match.
35.
Yeah, we're in the semi-final and Ronnie O'Sullivan has never been behind yet in any of his matches. He's not going to be behind in this session, so it'll make the first frame
42.
of tomorrow morning's session very interesting if Judd clinches this.
43. Or
94% against 87%. Well ahead in the pot success department. And he's ahead in the long pot success department.
And you would say this is the most, or the last chance really for O'Sullivan. If Judd gets nicely positioned on the colour, you would expect him to take the frame here.
Well, you said it, Steve, if he gets
51.
nicely on the colour, but he's not nicely on the colour. So Ronnie hasn't lost this frame just yet. He needs to play. A very good shot here. If he just tries to drop this in, he'd be on the yellow. It's there, and he's on the yellow.
$58. $60.
Well, what a great start this has been to this semi-final. We knew it was going to be a cracking match. We've had everything,
63.
only a century break. We've had some superb tactical play from both players. and someone's decided it's time to go. He thinks the frame's over. Just put Judd off there.
67.
Just around the houses. I wonder how hard he'll hit this. You have to watch out on the front row here if he hits this hard. No, it's still on the table.
72.
Well, that's a pretty good comeback from Judd Trump. He was 4-1 down. He's won the last 3 frames. What a semi-final we've got here. We're all square, 4 frames each.
Absolutely. What a brilliant first session. Now, I don't know what you've got planned for tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Whatever it is, I suggest that you cancel and join us at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for the second session. Absolutely exhilarating snooker.
Brilliant session of snooker. 2 players playing some great tactical stuff. That one session there, for me, has just shown me how much Judd Trump has improved. As a character, I thought 4-1 behind, it looked worrying signs like he was going to get, you know, it was going to be a runaway. To dig in there and play as well as he's done from 4-1 to 4-4, that's as good as I've seen him compete.
Steve?
Yes, and if you are going to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, the counter-punching style, it can work as well, because I would imagine he's a little bit shocked at how well Judd Trump came back. It's not like it's never happened before, but I think he felt in good spirits. Ronnie O'Sullivan looked like he was fighting very well, and I would have thought perhaps expected to win the session, but the snooker standard was just exceptional. Yeah, we sit here in the studio. We're supposed to criticise to some degree if we feel there's just nothing to say other than just fantastic.
It's funny how you watch matches. I was saying earlier today, I said when he was playing Sean Murphy and he was 8-3 behind, his highest break was 40 and he couldn't pot a ball. His highest break before that was 50, that last break. But it was fantastic snooker. He was competing so well. It just shows it's not always about making the centuries and 90s. It's being in there, giving everything you can.
Tonight, it's going to be all about the second semi-final of the 2013 Betfair World Snooker Championship as Ricky Walden takes on Barry Hawkins. And a really interesting matchup because Ricky Walden has won 2 ranking titles to Barry Hawkins 1. Walden leads the head-to-head. They played each other 7 times, their first meeting back in 2001. Hawkins won the latest meeting in a PTC event last year, but we're now into the best of 33 frames. Let's hear from Barry Hawkins as he prepares for the big one.
It hasn't really sunk in yet. I just want to try and keep my mind on the job really, and it's like a big opportunity to try and get to the final of the World Championship, which I've always dreamed of being in. It'd be the biggest moment of my career by far. I've been watching the World Championship for years and years, and especially watching Jimmy White and things like that. Jimmy getting beaten all in finals with Hendry. I was watching that when I was a youngster, and I've always dreamt of playing in the world final.
Right in the heart of the pocket.
Obviously, it's given me great confidence, you know, beating world #1 Mark Selby and then beating Ding as well. 2 unbelievable players in my eyes. Yeah, I'm just so excited, you know, to be on the one table set up at the Crucible. Ricky's won a couple of tournaments now and been doing well for the last few years. I want to try and play as best I can really, and hopefully, you know, get through to the final. I've always known I've had the ability to play well and perform really. So, but the mental side of things has been a big part of what was lacking in the past. You know, like the self-belief, especially. Always lacked self-belief over the years, and I've been working on that really hard with Terry Griffiths and things like that. And hopefully now it's starting to pay off. Now we've got so many playing opportunities that we're getting more match practice and more confidence. So I think it's just helping us all round really, and I think that's the big difference. And obviously now I'm probably a little bit mentally stronger maybe, especially on the big stage, so that helps massively. Been trying for so long to show people like how I can play. I think I've showed that in spells this week. I haven't showed it fully yet. But I've just been playing really solid. My safety's been really good, and but if I can play how I know I can play, then perhaps they're looking at me a bit differently and fancy me a bit more for future tournaments maybe.
Ricky Walden probably hits the ball as well as anybody in the game.
Yeah, it's a type of player, when you're playing against, you know you're not going to outclass him. He's striking the ball as good as...
Very, very similar cue action to Sullivan.
Yeah,
he brings
I
the
think
cue
so.
right back to the edge of his hand and right through his...
Can generate a lot of break building. He seems to be able to make a break from nowhere. Really obviously understands the game inside out. Tactically very astute as well.
In terms of winning though, he's won twice in China, but he's not done that well on UK soil. He got to the semi-final, I think, with the UK last year, but apart from that, he's not done well in the world.
No, it's a crowded marketplace. We're trying to win events, we know that. What goes for him, I think, the first ranking event he did win, it wasn't against another surprise finalist, it was against Ronnie O'Sullivan. The biggest breakthrough I think he needs to make probably is in the World Championship, where he hasn't really achieved on the ultimate stage. But he's putting himself in the frame now. I think that's all he can do, really.
I think if there's one criticism, I think he's not beating the very top players enough, consistently enough to get to these tournament finals. You know, every week in, week out. If you've got aspirations to get in the top 4 or anything, you need to be winning matches, against the Higginses, the Williams, the Selbys regularly. And I think he tends to play in patches a bit.
To his credit, he actually sort of resisted the temptation to stand differently, has a very strange stance, looks like perhaps he's in the Olympic swimming team, ready to launch himself forward. It would be easy for him to have started to mess around with his technique. He's not done that, he's just let his talent flow. At any moment, I think he could win an event.
Definitely.
So it's another All-England semi-final. Ricky Walden v Barry Hawkins. You can watch that match live at 7 o'clock here on BBC Two. Well, John, Ricky Walden ran the New York Marathon in 2009. Is he ready for the marathon that is the Crucible?
Well, it'll certainly help. I mean, I think this is a really hard match to pick a winner in. I think Ricky's done really well to come through. Had a hard match with Rob Milkins, then got over against Michael White. As for Barry Hawkins, well, he's knocked out world #1 Mark Selby. Great performance, and then took out Ding Junhui, who most people thought would win the bottom half. His match play's been superb so far. He hasn't let people play against him, Barry. He's been very good. He scored when he's in amongst the balls. A really hard game this to pick the winner.
For you, Steve, Barry Hawkins starts as the favourite?
Well, Ricky Walden sort of, has got the CV of winning tournaments. Barry Hawkins has beaten the bigger names in this event, but I think it's very hard to envisage anything other than a very close fight. And if there is to be a runaway victor, I haven't got a clue which one it's going to be. So I think from a gambling perspective, if you were trying to pick a winner, it's a match to avoid, really, because nobody really has a guideline. They're into uncharted territory themselves, and that's important.
I think the big thing as well is that first is who can settle down early, because they're going to go into completely unknown territory. Walking out in the arena, all of a sudden it's gone from being cramped, divide and wall. You can hear people breathing on the front row. Now all of a sudden there's a table and it's in the middle of a football pitch.
Yeah, but with the greatest respect to the players that Ricky's beaten, Barry has beaten the big names. He's knocked out 2 people who many pundits were predicting to win the title.
Yes, but when he's all of a sudden up against Ricky Walden, they've both got such a great chance to get into the final. That'll get the nerves jangling as well.
And don't forget that Barry Hawkins has won the Australian.
Yeah, he's got confidence. 2 championships that Walden won, both in China. So he'd like to do it on UK soil and improve his record here. Honestly, I'm going to say it again. This is a tough match to pick a winner in.
Boys, thank you very much indeed for